Hey guys, Zoe here. Just want to take a couple minutes of your time to go through how to properly read a nutrition label. It's a question that I get from my clients and I figured it might be good to share. So, first thing that I take a look at when I'm looking at any packaged food that I'm buying in a grocery store is I actually head all the way down to the ingredients list here. And I actually count the number of ingredients that is in the product that I'm looking at. In this case, Kodiak Power Cakes, which is a flapjack and waffle mix. There are 7 ingredients listed. Now, as a rule of thumb, I generally like to keep the product that I'm buying at about 5 ingredients or less. That's not always possible, especially depending on what you're looking at. So then what I'll do is I will take a look at the actual ingredients listed and make sure that it's something that all the ingredients listed are things that I actually understand and that I know I'm familiar with. It's not some scientific word that I have no idea what it is, because generally that's a flag that it's a manufactured product. So in this case, we're looking at 100% whole grain wheat flour, whole grain oat flour, protein blend, buttermilk powder, brown sugar, baking powder, and sea salt. So definitely everything that I'm familiar with. No ingredients that have me questioning what's actually in the product that I'm looking at. Next thing that I take a peek at is the serving size here. I don't know if you guys can read any of that. I take a look at the serving size. It's just good to know how much of what you're looking at, how much the recommended serving size is of what you're looking at. So obviously if you're drinking something that comes in a bottle, whether it's juice or milk or whatever it is, we tend to assume that one serving size is one bottle, but that's not always the case, and I would say in most cases that's actually not the case. Usually it's about 2 servings per bottle, so it's just good to be aware of. In this case here, it's 3 4-inch flapjacks, so just to give you an idea. I do take a look at calories, but it's not something that I really focus on. In this case, the calories listed are 190 calories for those 3 flapjacks, which I don't think is bad. I do peek at the sugar count, which the American Heart Association recommends that we get 25 grams or less of added sugar per day. I believe that's for women. And sugar is really snuck into our food. It's definitely one that most people don't realize how much sugar is actually in our diet. Things like yogurts or protein bars or whatever it is, they can have 20-25 grams of added sugar just in one serving alone. So it's definitely something that you should be aware of. In this case, we're looking at 3 grams of sugar, which is not bad. And that's again coming from that brown sugar in this mix. I then take a look at sodium. In this case, it's 380 milligrams. I believe the American Heart Association's recommendation is that you get 1,300 milligrams or less, somewhere around there. Don't quote me on that number. But it's somewhere around there. So 380 milligrams isn't bad, but that's also one that I like to look at just because, again, it can be added to our food. It's in a lot of processed foods. It can be a really high number, so that's just kind of something to note. I also take a look at the fat, and I specifically look at the trans fat number. So the trans fat recommendation that I give my clients is that your trans fat should actually be 0 grams for anything that you're having. Trans fats do not occur naturally. If they do occur, I believe they occur very rarely. So generally they're manufactured and added to the product that you're eating. So I like to keep my trans fat at 0 grams. And then saturated fat, which is right above that number, I try to keep at about 10% of my total diet. Saturated fats can be anything like in eggs and cheese, that sort of thing. It shouldn't be any more than about 10% of your total calorie intake. So those are just a few things that I look at just to give me a better understanding of the quality product that I'm looking at, and give me a better understanding of what is actually in what I'm eating. So I hope you learned something. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to shoot me a direct message or comment below. Thanks, guys.